Okay, so let's begin. First of all, thank you so much, guys, and I uh, give you a warm welcome and thanks for registering for the knowledge session. And I'm sure that this webinar is going to be pretty enriching and exciting for you. We basically will be talking about cloud. We all have been hearing about cloud computing has a great scope. So we'll be demonstrating a case related to cloud computing. Uh, and just to give you a brief about what does cloud computing market in India looks like. So it was being said in a report which it is at $2 billion and is expected to grow at the annual growth rate of 30%. So, just to be more diligent and more informative about cloud, whether we should choose it or not, or how we should take it forward as a career option, we today will be talking about how to deploy Spring Boot apps in AWS. And with us, we are joined with our expert trainer, Mr. Varun Gupta. So, just to give you a brief about Varun, he has been a maestro and has so far trained high-end working professionals and numerous glorify signature in I'll say emerging technologies like full stack development and cloud. So Varun, I would like to invite you, and before we straight away go to the topic, it'll be great if you can give a brief about cloud computing, its scope, and the kind of job roles are currently available in the industries, and then move towards the topic. Over to you, Varun.
Sure. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Shwetang. Thanks, everyone, for joining for the session. A very warm welcome for the session. So today we are here to discuss about the cloud computing. As I'm assuming you already have shown interest because you might be knowing something about the cloud computing. Just to clarify all your doubts and to add some more, data to your curiosity. So basically, cloud computing, you can say it is one of the key essential these days. There are three top market player in this cloud segment. First is AWS, which is by far is the market leader, and then we have the Azure, and then we have the GCP, that is Google Cloud Computing. Now if you look at the market in these days, the cloud computing is something which has been we can say growing at a very fast pace. Every company now, they don't want to make any huge investment on having their own data centers, because that involve a huge investment upfront and also has a huge investment in maintenance. So they're moving from their in-house data centers to the public clouds, where we have this AWS, Azure, and GCP. Now if you talk about the any kind of a role that you're going to play in your career, maybe a front end, back end, or maybe a full stack developer, to be precise. A full stack developer is just not a person who is just going to have the knowledge of front end and back end. The cloud, the DevOps, the testing is equally now become the part of the full stack developer. Now it was been expected by the every full stack developer that they should be knowing about the cloud computing. Just give me a second. Yeah, sorry for the disturbance. So basically, the what we're discussing is now the cloud computing become the key essential, the skill set in every full stack developer or any kind of a developer who plays a role, who play mostly work in a backend. Now, because there are multiple strategies we can use to deploy the application, there are so many solutions are available. You can use the Azure EC2 instance, where you can have everything. You can have the full control. You can customize your virtual machine, install all the dependency, choose the configuration, and can deploy the application. That is going to give you the entire, we can say, the control over the virtual machine. Then another option can be we can use some elastic beanstalk, where we can have the you can say platform as a service. We don't have to worry and go and create everything from the scratch. We don't have to reinvent the entire wheel. We can take the help of the existing service as a platform and can use it to deploy the application. And then comes the one of the most important, you can say, the essential skill set is the microservices. Now when we say microservices, the idea is we want to break down the huge bulky application into multiple micro units, and these micro units can be your microservices. So the idea is in these microservices, we're going to package the application in such a way that they can be deployed independently. You can manage them independently. You can scale up, you can scale down at any point of time. Now for this, we need to containerize our application. So when I say containerization, that means we can create a Docker container where we can have all the dependencies, the entire source code, everything is there. Now you can package that container, and now that container can be published directly on the cloud. So that's another strategy we can use to deploy your application in the cloud using the container services. So there are multiple ways we can deploy the application. That depends upon your use case, how you want to deploy this. So today we see a couple of examples to deploy the application. Just to give you the some idea, and then you can explore further. And if you have any doubt, any questions, you can definitely reach out to us for further more discussion. So having said that, let me share my screen and let's start with some demo, which is going to give you the more clarity. Just give me a second. Okay. Now, no matter you a Java developer, you are a front end, you are a .NET developer, you build application in Node.js. The idea is we want to deploy the application in the cloud. In this today's demo, we'll be discussing Java because Java is one of the key. You can say the mostly a primary skill. Mostly will be asked by the organization to develop the backend. So we'll be using a Java here, and to be precise, Java Spring Boot. As of now, we don't have any applications. So I'm just going to create a very simple basic application just to give you the entire idea how to build everything from the scratch and then deploy. So I can go to the Spring Boot initializer, and then we can just create a simple Java application where we can give the group ID. Let's say this is going to be Zevia. That will be our Spring Boot AWS demo. That's fine. I'm just going to remove this hyphens with dot. That's it. As of now, I just want to add one single dependency, and that will be the web. Intention is just to have a sample demo application which we can use to deploy on the AWS. So it only just going to have a simple web dependency. Let's generate the project. So we got the project generated. Let me bring that project somewhere in our, maybe I can put it in my, just a second. So we can extract this. Right now, let me open this project in my ID. I'm using here IntelliJ IDEA. You can use Eclipse. So let me open a new project. I can paste my URL where I have my project, and that's it. Okay, so that's my project. It will take few minutes just to download all the dependencies and just keep everything ready. In the meantime, guys, you don't need to worry. If you have an experience in the Java, you can use Java. If you can use .NET also, you can use the Node.js also. Any application you can take for this demonstration purpose. I'm using Java. It's still resolving some dependencies, so wait for a few more minutes. So what is the strategy we're going to use? Our strategy will be, I'm going to create a jar file from my Spring Boot application, and then I'm going to upload this jar file into AWS S3 bucket. And then we're going to create the EC2 instance, and that is the instance we can create where we have to install all the dependencies. And then further, we're just going to use the jar file we can copy the jar file from our S3 bucket and deploy it on our EC2 instance. That is one of the way. So there are three types of models we can use in cloud. First is a infrastructure as a service. Second, platform as a service, and third is a software as a service. In the infrastructure as a service, we are responsible to create everything from the scratch. We are responsible to manage our dependencies, our virtual machine. We are responsible to choose the configuration to install the operating system. We have to are responsible to perform all the updates in future, and then that is we own that entire virtual machine, so we are responsible to manage it completely. That's the reason it's called as infrastructure as a service. Second option is the platform as a service, where we have multiple, you can say, services, where we don't have to worry about the underlying resources. We're just going to bring our focus more on the application development, and can just take our application and directly deploy on the, let's say, Elastic Beanstalk. We have, we can use on Azure also. We can do that. I mean, there are multiple platforms are available. I'll try to cover both the ways. So let's start from the first, where we have to create our own virtual machine. But before that, we must to have an application. So let's go and create a simple application. So in this, we have this a source, main, and this is just an example. So I'm going to create here a new Java class. We can call this as my home controller. And this is controller we can declare using a REST controller annotation, and where we can have a simple method. Let's say string, public string. This is going to be home, and that's going to return a simple message. That's going to be, let's say, return this this is this is my sample string application. So just to test the application, if I want to run the application, just to see the output or not, I can just go to the terminal or right click here. You get the option run Spring Boot app. And you can see it is running, and port number 8080. Okay, the port 8080 is already in use, so it could not able to run the application. So I can go to the resources property, application property, and I can just configure the port number. So you can say server dot port, let's say 9091. Let me save this again, and let's start one more time. So run this. Now you can see app is running successfully on port number 9091. So just to be on a safer side, we just want to confirm this. So I can write a localhost port number 9091, and you can see this is coming. That's fine, because we have to add the endpoint. This home still not working because we forget to add map with the mapping. So we can write here, go back here. You can use it. This method going to respond on the get mapping. So get mapping, and we can add here. This is going to be home. Save this. Let me start this again. So go to the run this as again, stop and run. Again, app is running on 1990. You can go back to the browser. This time, if I say refresh, I can see I'm getting the result as expected. This is my sample Spring Boot app. You can create any kind of a complex application. As of now, I just have a simple application where we are exposing one single method. But of course, you can have the complete RESTful API, and that you can deploy in your cloud, so that you can able to consume that API in your any front end. It can be mobile application, web application, any kind of front end. As of now, we have the application ready. The second step is we have to create a jar, or we can say war file. And to create that, we can use a simple command. We stop the server first. So I can just terminal, and now we can execute a command clean mvn, means maven. I'm using a maven here to create a jar file. So maven clean install. What it will do, it will just going to create your jar file, or you can say the package your a jar file. Jar file is nothing. You can say in .NET we use the DLL or EXEs. So these are the executable files. So you're just going to package or compress your entire source code and give you the jar file, which you can deploy on your production environment. Let's see. As of now, you cannot see anything here in the target. The moment you execute this, everything is fine. Build success. Now you can find in the output, you can find here a file by the name called Spring Boot AWS demo. This is the version and snapshot.jar. That's the file that you have to publish, right? Second step is, as we discussed, in this case, what we do, we're going to create the S3 bucket where we're going to upload our jar file, and then we're going to create the EC2 instance where we have to copy the jar file from the S3 bucket, and then we have to run this. But before that, since it is a brand new EC2 instance, we also have to make sure that it should have all the required softwares, for example, Java, right? So let's go back to the browser, and now we can log into my AWS console. And sign in. Okay, so the command I have used is the mvn clean install. That's the command I have used to create a jar file. I send it to you in the chat window, Pankaj. Okay, now let me just go and select here one of my account. And for you can say AWS is one of the easiest way to start, because you can go and create your account, and that's going to give you the 1 month free subscription. 1 year for a free subscription you can use and explore. You don't have to pay anything. Of course, you have to give your credit card detail, but they will not going to charge you anything, right? So go ahead and can explore the AWS console. You can just need to create your free account, and that will be free for 1 year for your learning purpose. So let me just go back here, console. I don't know why they give such kind of a weird pictures. Sometimes we could not able to understand what they have written. Anyway, let me try this. Hopefully, okay. 754656. Okay. See. Okay, so now if you see this is your AWS console, and you can find all the services, and they keep on changing the interface. If you open this console maybe a year back, the interface is different, but now it is different, and they keep on changing it. So if you see in this, you get the entire list of all the services. So first they have categorized the service by they have divided the services into group the service in a category. We have compute service, we have database services, multiple type of services are there. So as of now, the service that you want to use is the EC2 instance, means cloud compute. That's why we say EC2. There are two C's here. So Elastic Cloud Compute. So that is the name EC2. And that fall under the category of compute services. So you can go and search for compute service, or you can directly go and search here, any service. Or you can click on services. You can find here in the compute, you get this EC2 instance, right? That's one of the most popular and important compute service in the AWS. Similar equivalent service we have in the Azure called VM, virtual machines. As of now, I don't have an instance, so I have to create a new instance. So click on launch instance. You can choose from the templates are available. You can choose from where we want to create a new instance. You can also create your own AMI, which means Amazon AWS virtual machine. So you can create your own custom image, and then you can save it for your future reference. So usually, suppose you buy a new laptop or a desktop, then you have to install all your required softwares. You have to install the Windows, you have to install your softwares that you're going to use in your day-to-day life. And you can say that after that it becomes ready for your usage. Here it is all, everything is virtual. That means we just going to create a virtual machine, install all the softwares, and then you can take an image of it. So that next time when you want to create a new instance, you don't have to repeat yourself. Just take that image and can recreate the virtual machine. As of now, you can say I'm going to use this Amazon Linux 2, which is coming under free tier eligible. That means you don't have to pay for this. Select this. I'm going to choose here micro, which is again free tier eligible. Others are you have to pay. Almost all the services of the AWS are free for a year, and some services are free for lifetime. So it's very affordable and very convenient. Next, I just want one instance, and these are your network settings. So I'm not going to change anything here. Add storage, keep it as default. Add. If you want to add a tags, you can add, otherwise you can keep it as default. So tags are basically just to add some kind of a label to your resource. Security group is fine. I'm just going to do everything default and then just click on the launch. I'm going to ask you that you have any existing pair. So basically, if you want to SSH into your machine, in that case, it's going to ask you to, do we have any existing pair machine, or you want to create a new? I don't know whether I have it or not, so I'm going to create a new one. So create a new key pair, and you can select the key pair type. RSA is fine. Pair name, you can say this is my Xavier, or not the key pair. Once it is downloaded, you can go ahead and can launch the instance. It will take few minutes just to provision your instance. So you can see the instance is now launching. It will take few minutes, and then once it is active, and then we can start using it. So wait for a few more minutes. So it's running, but you can see status is not yet come. Once it is done, then we can start using it. It says status initializing. In the meantime, let me give a name to my virtual machine. This is my Spring. Let's save this. Again, we can wait for a few minutes. Initializing. It will take few more minutes, because if you want to create any kind of a resource in the cloud, sometime it will take some time, because it has to provision everything. I have to set up the security firewall, have to register with your network, and then create a virtual instance. So it will take maybe a couple of minutes just to provision the resources. Now you can see check passed, status passed. Now you can click on this instance ID. That will take you to the another window where you can have a detailed description about your EC2 instance. You can have your ID, you can have your public IP, you have your private IP, you can have a security group. As of now, I just want to connect with my virtual machine. I want to SSH into the virtual machine. Means I have created a machine. Suppose you bought a new laptop, but now you want to open that laptop so that you can start working it. Similarly, when I create a virtual machine, I need to connect. There are multiple ways we can connect. You can use PuTTY, you can use multiple softwares are available. But one of the easiest way which I can tell you to connect with your EC2 instance is the connect option. Click on the connect. Since it is a Linux machine, you can directly open it in the browser. So that's a default username, EC2-user, and let's click on connect. Directly in your browser, you will observe it's going to connect your connect with you with your EC2 instance. You can say EC2 instance, Amazon Linux 2, and I'm inside. This is my IP address, public IP address. So first I want to get some information about the instance. So we can say sudo -i. Now we are inside the root access, right? So to switch between a normal and a root user, you can use this command sudo -i. Now you can check here Java version. You can say Java is not there, so we need to install the Java. So we can install the Java, and to install the Java, we can use a couple of commands. So I'll just going to copy paste this command. I'll share the command shortly. Then we have to use the curl command to download the package. Once it is done, now we can write here okay. Once it is done, now you can check the Java version. You can see I'm using version 11. Technically, you should also make sure that you are using a similar version, but more or less, I think it will work. So I'm not going to go and check my Spring Boot application version. But generally, as per the thumb rule is, whatever the version you have used to build an application, try to use the same version for the deployment. That's the first part of this exercise, that we have to create a virtual machine. Second is we have a jar file which we need to upload in the S3 bucket. So go back to the connect to your EC2, your AWS console, and search for a service called storage. Under the storage, you will find a S3 bucket, or directly write here S3. S3 stands for scalable storage, simple scalable storage. That's the reason we call them as a S3. Select the option. As of now, you can see I have 2 buckets. I'm going to create 1 more bucket here. So we can go and create a new bucket. That's going to be, we can give it a bucket name as Spring Boot. You can choose a region of your choice. So region is basically where you want to create this resource, right? So I can choose here, Delhi, Mumbai is fine. Then we can say allow block all public access. Later on we can fix it, or if you want you can uncheck this, because that will just going to make it publicly accessible. Otherwise, if you say block all public access, you cannot able to copy the file from this in the browser. So basically, Pankaj, curl command we use whenever suppose you have some resource on the URL. We're just going to hit the URL to download that source code. So what we can say, curl is just not to going without going to the browser. We can make the HTTP call, and that we're going to copy or download any resources, any dependency. Something is missing. Where it is? Create the bucket. So once we create the bucket, now we have to upload our jar file. So now you can click on the upload, and then you can choose here, add file. The file is available in the so now we can search for the path, Spring Boot, target. You can see this is your jar file which we have to upload, this one. So once you upload your jar file, now we can just click on upload, and you will see it will just going to upload your jar file. The jar file is available now. Now you can click on this. That's going to give you the public URL from where we can able to download this file. You can see this is the URL. Let's copy this And now we have to copy this use this URL to copy the your jar file into your EC2 instance. So let's go back to your connect. Here we can write here at wget, and you can just paste the URL and enter. Okay, we're getting here forbidden access denied. Why? Because you may get this is expected error. And now to avoid this error, we have to make it public. The resource has to make it public. Now for that, we have to go back to our S3 bucket, and here you can see it is you get the option here, make it public, permission. Just a second. Make public. Wait a minute. Just a second.
You need to go to proper permissions and edit the permissions from there, I think.
Yes. No, I already log all public. Confirm. We will try once again. They change their interface very frequently. Let me try one more time. Yeah, you get the option here, make it public. Let's try this one. Make public. Once you make the public, you have to wait for some time because it will take a few seconds or few minutes just to apply the policy that you have changed. So again, if you go back to this and sometime try, it might going to give you the same error. But once it has been set, then you can able to download that image. Now, if you see the ls, you can find we have a jar file. And you know that once we get the jar file, you can start the application. And to start the application, we can use a single command, java minus jar and the name of the minus jar. And just copy the jar file name. Java jar. You will find similar kind of a logs listing the port number 1991. App is running. There's no issue right now. So this EC2 instance now running your Spring Boot application, and how to access it? You can go back to your EC2 instance. EC2 instance. Click on this. You can copy your public IP. You can copy the public IP of your instance. This one. Copy this URL. Go back here and then colon port number 1991. Okay, I'll still get the error. Can somebody tell me why? If you remember, we are using a port number 9091, but we have not exposed that port. So we have to go to the EC2 instance dashboard, and then you can choose your running instance. This is the instance running under the security. You have this, there are two type of role, inbound rule and outbound role. Inbound for the incoming traffic. Outbound is for the outbound traffic. So in the inbound bound, we have to make a change. So security group, you can open this and edit the inbound rule, and then you can choose what port you want to expose. So I want to expose here port number 9091. So we can say custom. This is going to be 9091, and you can say this is going to be anywhere, and then save the changes. Once it is done, now you can try this one. This time you can see I'm getting the same page, but if I write hello, that's going to give me the application. Just a second, what I've written, name, home, sorry, it's not hello, it's home, slash, and you can see I'm getting the result as expected. But this time the challenge is, difference is, it's not running on a local host anymore. This time we have deployed the application on the AWS EC2 instance. Clear, everyone? Okay, let's take one more example. Suppose this time I want to use Elastic Beanstalk. Elastic Beanstalk is very interesting. This is something you can say this we can use to build the end-to-end web application. So search for Elastic Beanstalk, and you will see it will not take much time. Just going to, in a matter of few seconds or few minutes, you can able to deploy the application. Elastic Beanstalk. Yes, you can. You can do the you can mask the endpoints. You can do whatever you want. It's your personal preference. You can do it. No issues with that. So when you open the Elastic Beanstalk, you can, this is to use to build end-to-end web application. I can create a new application here. You can give a unique application name. If the name is already there, you can't able to use this. So let's say this is going to be AWS Spring 84, 83. You can give this name, and then you want to add tag, no platform you can choose. I am using a Java here. Now which version you are using here, you can use here. 11 version is fine, 3.2 is fine, security is fine, and create application. Now here you can see the logs of your application. This is the place you can see all your logs. But if you can go back to your environment, you can see your app is still pending, the health is still pending, and in a few minutes you will observe it will get hosted. Choose here, pending, wait for some time, still logs are running. Okay, so we can go to the application environment. We have to upload here the content, create application. I forget to add here, just a second. Platform, you can choose here Java. Upload the code. So basically, instead of using a sample application, I will try to upload my own content. Upload the code, and then you have to choose the file. So we can choose the same jar file, and then it will take few seconds. File uploaded, then create the application. So creating the environment is started. Wait for a few more seconds. So it will take few more minutes. It was just going to create everything on the fly. So we don't have to create a virtual machine from the scratch. We have to worry more about application development, and that platform will be taken care by the Elastic Beanstalk. Still running, but after some time you will observe the status is active, and then you can check the URL, and that's going to give you the same application running like we did in the EC2 instance. So I'll take a pause here. I want to ask you, if you have any doubt, any questions, feel free to ask. You can see now it is active, status is healthy, it is running. And now we can go back and check this URL, and you just need to add here port number 9091. Or
Guys, any questions, any queries that you want to ask, we'd be happy to answer.
that's it. You can see you can reconfigure it, you can redeploy them after every iteration. If you want to reconfigure it, you can do it again and again, right? So that's it from my side. I hope you understood the concept of cloud computing, how to deploy your application, your Spring Boot application in the Azure environment. If you have any doubt, any questions, feel free to ask now. Thanks, everyone.
So, guys, anyone who want to ask, Dinesh, Hemant, or Ajay, anyone who want to ask any questions? Pankaj?
I think we are good actually. This is Hemant speaking. Varun has given a clear, crisp idea within hardly half an hour and cleared all my doubts which are ringing in my mind. I know everything of the concept, and he very well connected all the dots for me. Thank you very much, Varun. Frankly speaking, I got whatever you said. There is no doubt in whatever you explained me.
Okay. Thank you.
Glad to hear that, Hemant. So, Varun, if you can just also help every one of us to understand that cloud computing has many layers to it. At the same time, having a superficial knowledge about cloud and an in-depth knowledge. So, how people can have actually, go through and have those knowledge at the same time for whom it could be really beneficial, who should do this? If you can just throw some light on that.
Sure. So first of all, I would like to recommend this cloud computing for everyone who want to make a successful career in IT. This is something you can say in demand and going to stay in the market for a longer time. Everybody is moving from the in-house or data center to the cloud computing, and that become the key essential skill to become a successful developer or any IT professional. You can see there are three major players in the market: AWS, Azure, and the Google Cloud Computing. However, we have also have a unique program where we are integrating all the three cloud computing together, which is called multi cloud architect. That is something I think Shwetank can tell you better. But this is a program that we have designed in such a way. If you want to outstand in the cloud world, you can use this. You can do this course that will going to give you the idea, and you can able to help your career, build your career in the cloud computing. So basically, cloud computing is a must to have, because not only in India, in overseas, there are a lot of IT jobs you will find. It is one of the top three skills in these days.
Great. So, guys, as Varun says, that cloud is something which is going to stay here for a longer time, and better if we get more well versed about it. So, just for your reference, I have shared a link over the chat box, which gives you a fair enough idea that what all we teach you in cloud. So, I would just like to take a leverage and share my screen so that I can, make you know more about it. Just let me know the moment my screen is visible to you all. So, can my is my screen visible? Harshit, can you see my screen? Varun, is my screen visible to you?
Still coming, just came up now.
Okay, great. So, guys, this is a master in cloud architect program that Xebia offers you. If I give you a highlight, this gives you an opportunity to work with Xebia and the clients that Xebia has in the IT infrastructure. At the same time, this training will be for 24 weeks. It'll be a weekend program, so 6 to 8 hours of learning in a week, which practically means 3 hours a day, 3 to 4 hours a day. Along with that, you get 100% placement assistance, which basically talks about again working with Zapier and for the client base. The batch that we have starts from 27th, though we start one batch every month. If I run through about the curriculum, so we basically cover AWS solution architect. At the same time, we cover AWS system operations, Microsoft Azure and architect technologies, Microsoft architect design, Google Cloud program architect. As Varun mentioned, that it will be, covering all the three aspects of it. The program is priced pretty decently, which is 64999. In case you want, you can have it an EMI or a flexi payment option as well. So I'll also mention my email address and phone number. You can just give me a call or an email, and feel free to connect me and discuss more about it. This is a certificate that you receive once you complete the program, and you also receive a digital badge which you can flaunt over your social media profiles. So I'll just share my email address and phone number as well, so that you can anytime get in touch with me. Just a moment. So that's my number and my email address. Most of you would be having it because you might have received email from my email ID itself. But still, for your reference, I'm sharing it in the chat box. Guys, feel free to connect in case you have any query, any assistance required in terms of cloud programs, internship, jobs, anything. Feel free to reach me. Thank you once again, Varun, for spending your time, and at the same time giving us 2 cases for cloud, which was absolutely interesting and live. Thank you guys for joining in.
Thanks, everyone.
Stay safe.
Thank
Take care,
you.
guys. Bye. Bye.